Chapter 1. They marked her as a cursed Omega. She shifted into a golden wolf and the entire pack fell silent. The rain came down in sheets, each drop a silver needle against the moonlit sky. Elara Voss gripped the steering wheel of her rust-flecked Jeep, knuckles white. As the mountain road twisted like a serpent through Wolfswood Pass, she had no business being here 300 miles from the city. From the life she torched in a single night, but the alternative was worse. Staying meant facing the wreckage, the fiancé who'd chosen her best friend, the clinic that had fired her for emotional instability, the scar across her ribs that still ached when she breathed too deep. Lightning cracked, illuminating the forest in stark white. Something huge darted across the asphalt of Wolf, larger than any textbook specimen, its coat dark and matted with blood. One foreleg buckled. It vanished into the underbrush with a pained whine that pierced the storm's roar. Elara's foot slammed the brake. Tires screamed. The Jeep fishtailed, skidding to a stop inches from a ditch. Her pulse thundered in her ears. She killed the engine. The forest swallowed the silence, broken only by rain and that distant, desperate sound. Elara grabbed her flashlight and the emergency med kit from the glove box. She was a vet tech, not a coward. If an animal was suffering, she could help. Mud sucked at her boots as she plunged into the trees. The beam of light jittered across wet pine needles and slick stone. Another whine closer now drew her to a cluster of ferns beside a fallen log. She pushed through, breath fogging in the cold, and froze. Not a wolf. A man, he lay sprawled in the muck, naked, skin pale against the earth. Blood poured from a gash across his thigh, thick and dark, pooling beneath him. Claw marks raked his chest in vicious parallel lines, raw and deliberate. His dark hair tangled with leaves, and his broad shoulders trembled with each ragged breath. Elara dropped to her knees, ignoring the rain soaking her jeans. "Hey," she called, voice steady despite the adrenaline. "Can you hear me?" No response. His last thick, unfairly long rested against high cheekbones. A faint scar cut through his left eyebrow, white against the stubble shadowing his jaw. He was beautiful in a brutal way, like something forged in the wild. She pressed two fingers to his neck, pulse strong, skin fever hot. She tore open the med kit with shaking hands. The thigh wound needed stitches, maybe a hospital, but the claw marks worried her more. Too precise, too deep. No bear did that. She poured antiseptic over the gashes. He hissed, even unconscious, muscles jumping beneath her touch. "Hold on," she muttered, wrapping gauze tight. "You're not dying here," a low growl rumbled behind her. Elara's blood turned to ice. The flashlight swung wildly, catching to glowing eyes in the darkness, amber, predatory, fixed on her. Another wolf, smaller, hackles raised. Her heart lurched. She reached slowly for the bear spray in her coat pocket. "Easy," she said, voice low. "I'm helping him." "Back off." The wolf didn't move. Rain hissed against its fur. For a moment, Elara swore its gaze held something human: calculation, not hunger. Then it melted into the shadows, leaving only the storm. She exhaled shakily and turned back to the man. He was heavier than he looked, solid muscle, all sinew and heat, but she dragged him to the Jeep, using a tarp from the trunk as a makeshift stretcher. His weight sagged against her, breath warm against her neck. She wrestled him into the back seat, wrapped him in her spare wool blanket, and slammed the door. The engine roared to life. Headlights carved tunnels through the rain as she navigated the last mile of gravel to the cabin she'd rented sight unseen. Pines loomed like sentinels. The storm held, but beneath it, she swore she heard another sound: distant howls. Answering the thunder, the cabin appeared, cedar logs, sagging porch, one window glowing amber. She killed the engine and sat for a moment, rain drumming the roof. You're insane, Elara. Bringing a bleeding stranger to her sanctuary. But the alternative, leaving him to the wolves, hadn't been an option. She hauled him out, his arms slung over her shoulder. The door stuck. She kicked it open and dragged him inside, boots slipping on pine floors. The air smelled of wood smoke and lavender sachets. She maneuvered him onto the futon, her only furniture besides a rickety table, and collapsed beside it, lungs burning, his head lolled toward her. In the lamplight, the stranger looked less human, more myth. Sharp jaw, lips parted, the scar a slash of white. The claw marks on his chest had already begun to knit, pink edges pulling together in a way that made her stomach flip. Asterisk impossible. Asterisk she'd cleaned enough wounds to know healing didn't work like that. Double quotes, hey? She whispered, brushing damp hair from his forehead. His skin scalded her fingers. Wake up! A shudder ran through him. His eyes snapped open gold, not brown, but asterisk gold asterisk and locked on hers with an intensity that stole her breath. The room shrank to just the two of them, the storm a distant roar. Then his gaze clouded, and he slumped back, unconscious. Elara's hand lingered on his cheek. Her pulse hadn't slowed since the forest. She didn't know his name, didn't know why he'd been bleeding. But the image of those claw marks and the Voss's amber eyes burned behind her lids. Something was wrong here. Something beyond storms and strangers. Outside, thunder rolled. Inside, the fire crackled to life as she fed it kindling. She cleaned his wounds again, stitched the thigh gash with trembling fingers, and draped another blanket over him. His breathing evened out, but the fever didn't break. She sat on the floor beside the futon, flashlight in her lap, bear spray within reach. Ours bled into dawn. The rain softened to a whisper. Elara dozed, head against the futon's edge, and dreamed of golden eyes and teeth in the dark. She woke to the sound of splintering wood. The stranger was sitting up, blanket pulled at his waist, staring at the door as if it had spoken. His chest rose and fell in sharp, controlled breaths. The stitches on his thigh were intact, but the claw marks already scabbed over. He turned his head slowly, gold eyes finding hers. Who are you? His voice was gravel and smoke, low enough to vibrate in her bones. Elara, she said, throat dry. I found you in the woods. You were hurt. He didn't blink. You shouldn't have brought me here. I wasn't leaving you to bleed out. A muscle ticked in his jaw. You don't know what you've done. The door rattled against 3 sharp knocks. Elara's heart leapt to her throat. No one knew she was here. No one. The stranger still a name rose in one fluid motion, ignoring the stitches, the blood, the impossible healing. He moved like a predator, all coiled power, and placed himself between her and the door. Stay behind me, he growled. The knocks came again, harder. Elara reached for the bear spray. Outside, the forest held its breath. Chapter 2. The weight of names asterisk. The cabin door shuddered under the third knock, with groaning like it might split. Elara's fingers tightened around the bear spray, the cold metal grounding her. The stranger, still nameless, still impossibly upright, stood between her and the threat, shoulders squared, bare feet planted on the pine floor. Rainwater dripped from his dark hair, tracing the ridges of muscle along his back. The claw marks on his chest were no longer bleeding. They looked days old, not ours. Open it, he said without turning. His voice was low, edged with something feral. But stay behind me. Elara's pulse hammered. You're in no shape to fight. I'm in worse shape if they come through that door without warning. The word hung heavy. She swallowed and stepped forward, their spray raised. The stranger's hand shot out, closing around her wrist, not hard, but immovable. His skin burned against hers, fever still raging. I said stay behind me. Gold eyes flicked to her face, and for a heartbeat, she saw something raw beneath the command, fear. Not for himself. For her. The knock came again, slower, deliberate. A voice followed, muffled by the storm but unmistakably male. Kael, we know you're in there. Open the damn door, Kael. The name lodged in Elara's chest like a stone. He released her wrist, but his fingers lingered a second too long, as if reluctant to let go. Then he moved, silent despite his size, and unlatched the door. It swung inward on creaking hinges. A man filled the frame, tall, lean, with rain-slicked blonde hair and eyes the color of winter sky. He wore a leather jacket darkened by water, and a scar curved from his temple to his jaw like a lightning bolt. Behind him, the storm howled, but the forest beyond was unnaturally still. Thought you'd crawl off to die, the newcomer said, voice smooth as river stone. His gaze slid past Kael to Elara, and something cold slithered down her spine. Didn't expect you to bring a souvenir. Kael's growl was barely human. Leave her out of this, Rowan. Rowan's smile didn't reach his eyes. Can't. She's seen you. Smelled you. That makes her pack business. He stepped inside without invitation, boots tracking mud across the floor. Another figure loomed behind him, a woman with braided black hair and a crossbow slung across her back. Her eyes were amber, like the wolf in the woods. Elara's grip on the bear spray tightened. This is my house. Get out. Rowan ignored her, circling Kael like a shark. You're late. Alpha, the pack's been hunting since dusk. Thought the rogues got you. His gaze dropped to the stitch gash on Kael's thigh, then to the scabbed claw marks. Looks like they tried. I handled it, Kael said. His voice was steady, but Elara caught the tension in his jaw, the way his fists clenched at his sides. Rowan's laugh was sharp. Handled it. You're half dead, and you dragged a human into our war. The elders will have your pelt for this. War. Elara's voice cracked the air like a whip. Both men turned. She stepped forward, bear spray still raised. Someone want to explain why I'm stitching up a stranger who heals like Wolverine, and why there are wolves with asterisk people eyes asterisk stalking my woods. Silence. The woman with the crossbow shifted, her brain swinging like a pendulum. Rowan's smile faded. Kael's shoulders stiffened. Elara, Kael said quietly. Put the spray down. Not until someone tells me what the hell is going on. Rowan opened his mouth, but Kael cut him off with a look. She saved my life. She deserves the truth. Truth gets humans killed. Rowan snapped. Not this one. Kael's voice dropped to a growl that vibrated through the floorboards. She's under my protection. The air thickened, charged like the moment before lightning. Rowan's eyes narrowed. Your protection. You don't have a pack to back that claim, Kael. You're exiled, marked. You touch her, you damn her. Elara's heart stuttered. Asterisk exiled. Asterisk the word tasted like ash. She looked at Kael at the scar through his eyebrow, the fever flush on his cheeks, the way he stood like a king despite the blood crusted on his skin. He didn't deny it. The woman spoke for the first time, her voice soft but cutting. The rogues are still out there. They'll smell her on him. We need to move. Rowan nodded. Now, before the moon rises, Kael didn't budge. I'm not leaving her. You don't have a choice. Rowan stepped closer, rain dripping from his jacket. The curse enough. Kael's snarl silenced the room. He turned to Elara, and the desperation in his gold eyes stole her breath. I owe you my life. But if you stay here, they'll come for you. Not to talk. To asterisk eliminate asterisk the witness. Elara's mind raced. Wolves with human eyes. Healing wounds. Exiles and curses. None of it made sense, but the fear in Kael's voice was real. So was the way her skin prickled when he looked at her like she'd been marked by something she couldn't see. I'm not running, she said. This is my home. It won't be safe after tonight. Kael's hand hovered near hers, not quite touching. Come with me. Just until the storm passes. I'll explain everything. Rowan snorted. You'll explain. You can't even explain yourself to the pack. The woman still unnamed and flung her crossbow. We're wasting time. The rogues are circling. I can smell them. Elara's gaze darted between them. The cabin felt smaller, the walls closing in. She thought of the life she'd left behind, the betrayal, the emptiness, and realized she had nothing to lose. But trusting Kael? That was a leap into the dark. She lowered the bear spray. One condition. Kael's brows lifted. You tell me your name. Your asterisk real asterisk name. And you don't lie to me again. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Kael Thorn. And I swear on my blood. Elara Voss. I won't lie to you. Rowan rolled his eyes. Sentiment. Great. We're all dead. The woman grabbed Rowan's arm. Let's go. They'll follow. Kael extended a hand to Elara. His palm was calloused, scarred, trembling slightly. Trust me. She stared at his hand, then at the storm beyond the door. Thunder rumbled, and in the distance, a howl rose long, mournful, answered by others. The forest was alive with secrets. Elara took his hand. His fingers closed around hers, warm and steady, and something electric passed between them. Recognition, fate, or sheer terror. She wasn't sure. They stepped into the rain. Behind them, the cabin door swung shut, latch clicking like a heartbeat. Ahead, the forest waited, dark, endless, and hungry. Chapter 3. The scent of rain and secrets. The forest swallowed them whole. Rain hissed through the canopy, turning the path into a slick ribbon of mud and pine needles. Elara's boots slipped with every step, but Kael's grip on her hand never faltered. His palm was furnace hot, grounding her as they plunged deeper into the dark. Rowan led the way, his silhouette cutting through the storm like a blade. The woman, still nameless, brought up the rear, crossbow at the ready, her brain swinging like AMETRONOME. No one spoke. The only sounds were the storm's roar, the crunch of bits, and the occasional distant howl that raised the hair on Elara's neck. Kael's thumb brushed the inside of her wrist, a small, deliberate motion that sent a shiver through her. Unrelated to the cold. She glanced at him. His jaw was set, eyes scanning the trees, but every few steps he angled his body to shield her from the worst of the wind. They reached a ravine where the path narrowed to a ledge above a rushing creek. Rowan held up a fist. Everyone stopped. Elara's breath fogged in the air. The woman crouched, fingers brushing the mud, then looked up with a frown. Tracks, she said. Fresh, 3, maybe 4 rogues. They're flanking us. Kael's grip tightened. How close? Too close. Rowan's voice was grim. We need higher ground. He pointed to a ridge cloaked in mist. Elara followed his gaze and saw nothing but shadows and jagged rock. Her legs already burned from the trek. The thought of climbing made her stomach lurch. But the howls were louder now, closer, threading through the trees like smoke. Kael turned to her. Rain streaked his face, plastering dark hair to his forehead. Can you climb? I'm not a damn mountain goat, she snapped, then regretted it. His eyes, still that impossible gold, held no judgment, only concern. I'll carry you if I have to, he said. But we can't stay here. Rowan was already moving, scaling the ridge with the ease of someone born to it. The woman followed, crossbow slung across her back. Elara took a step and nearly slipped. Kael cut her elbow, steadying her. Breathe, he murmured. 1 foot at a time, she nodded, throat tight. They climbed. Rocks bit into her palms. Mud caked her jeans. Halfway up, a branch snapped below a sharp, deliberate crack. Kael froze, head tilting. His nostrils flared. They're here, he said. The woman, finally speaking, whispered, Lyra, my name's Lyra. She unslung her crossbow, knocking a bolt with practiced speed. Kael, get her to the cave. Rowan and I will hold them. No. Kael's voice was iron. We stay together. Rowan dropped back down, landing lightly beside them. You're not alpha anymore, Kael. You don't give orders. I'm not leaving you to die. Lightning flashed, illuminating the ravine. For a heartbeat, Elara saw them for wolves, massive, eyes glowing like embers, creeping along the creek bed. Their fur was matted with blood and rain, and one limped, favoring a foreleg. The same wolf from the road. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Lyra raised her crossbow. Move. They scrambled upward. Elara's lungs burned. Kael stayed at her side, one hand on her back, pushing when she faltered. At the ridge's crest, a cave mouth beyond, black, jagged, smelling of damp stone and something metallic, blood. Rowan shoved her inside. Stay low. The cave was shallow, barely 10 feet deep, but it offered shelter. Elara pressed against the wall, bear spray still clutched like a talisman. Kael crouched at the entrance, body coiled. Lyra and Rowan took positions on either side, weapons ready. The wolves didn't follow. Instead, they circled below, heads low, growling. One, a massive black brute with a scarred muzzle, lifted its head and howled. The sound was grief and rage and hunger, all twisted together. Elara's knees buckled. Kael's hand found hers in the dark. Look at me, she did. His face was inches away, rain dripping from his lash. You're safe, he said. I won't let them touch you. You keep saying that, she whispered. But you're bleeding again. He glanced down. The stitches on his thigh had torn. Blood seeped through the gauze. He didn't flinch. Doesn't matter. It matters to me. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Kael's eyes widened, something vulnerable flickering there. Then Rowan hissed, quiet. Below, the wolves had stopped circling. The black one shifted, bones cracking, fur receding, until a man stood in its place. Naked, scarred, with eyes like molten gold. He raised a hand, and the others fell silent. Kael Thorn, the man called, voice carrying over the storm. You've taken what's ours. Return the human, and we'll let you crawl back to your exile. Elara's blood ran cold. Asterisk, taken what's ours. Asterisk, she looked at Kael. But he was staring at the man, fists clenched so tight his knuckles blanched. She's not yours, Silas, Kael said. She's not anyone's. Silas smiled, all teeth. The curse says otherwise. You feel it, don't you, the pull. She's marked, Kael, you can't fight fate. Elara's skin prickled. Asterisk marked dot asterisk, the word echoed Rowan's earlier warning. She stepped forward, ignoring Kael's warning grip. What the hell does that mean? Silas's gaze snapped to her. Ask your protector. Ask him why he can't leave you behind. Why his wolf sings for you. Kael's growl was deafening. He lunged, but Rowan caught his arm. Not here. Rowan snarled. Not now. Silas laughed. The full moon's tomorrow, Kael. You'll shift. You'll claim her. Or we will. He melted back into wolf form, and the pack vanished into the trees. Silence fell, broken only by rain. Elara's mind reeled. Asterisk shift, claim, curse, asterisk, none of it made sense. But the way Kael avoided her eyes told her it was true. Lyra lowered her crossbow. We can't stay. They'll be back with reinforcements. Rowan nodded. There's a safe house 2 miles north. We move at dawn. Kael didn't argue. He turned to Elara, expression unreadable. You should sleep. I'll keep watch. She wanted to demand answers. Asterisk, what curse? What pull? Why me? Asterisk, but exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. She sank to the cave floor, back against the wall. Kael draped his jacket over her shoulders. It smelled of pine and blood and something wild. Sleep, he said again, softer. I'm here. She closed her eyes, but sleep didn't come. Instead, she listened to the rain, to Lyra's quiet breathing, to Rowan sharpening a blade, and to Kael, sitting just outside the cave's mouth, his silhouette framed by lightning. Hours passed. The storm eased to a drizzle. Elara's head nodded, then jerked up as a hand touched her shoulder. Kael crouched beside her, gold eyes luminous in the dark. I need to tell you something, he whispered. Before tomorrow, she sat up, heart pounding. I'm listening. He hesitated, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn pendant of wolf's head carved from obsidian, eyes inlaid with amber. He pressed it into her hand. This belonged to my mother, he said. She was human. Like you. Elara's fingers closed around the pendant. It was warm from his skin. She loved a wolf, he continued. An alpha. They said it was impossible, that the curse would kill her. But she stayed. And when I was born, his voice cracked. They exiled us both. Elara's throat tightened. Kael, I'm not supposed to feel this, he said. This need to protect you. It's the curse, the bloodline. It binds us to our mates, whether we want it or not. She stared at him. You think I'm your mate? I asterisk no asterisk you are. His hand covered hers, the pendant trapped between their palms. And tomorrow, when the moon rises, I won't be able to fight it. The cave spun. Elara pulled away, scrambling to her feet. You don't get to decide that for me. I'm not, he said, standing. I'm telling you so you can choose. Stay and risk everything. Or run, and I'll face them alone. Outside, the first hint of dawn bled across the sky. Elara clutched the pendant, its edges biting into her skin. The forest was quiet, but she felt the weight of wolf eyes watching. She looked at Kael. At the desperation in his face, the blood on his hands. The way he stood between her and the world, I'm not running, she said. His shoulders sagged with relief or dread. She couldn't tell. Then we face tomorrow together, he said. But as the sun rose, painting the rich gold, Elara wondered what price they'd pay when the moon came. Chapter 4. The Safe House and the Silence Between Heartbeats. The safe house crouched at the edge of a forgotten logging road, half buried under ivy and decades of moss. Dawn had bled into a pale, watery light, and the forest still dripped with last night's storm. Elara's boots squelched as she followed Rowan through a door that looked more like a tree than an entrance. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of cedar smoke and old blood. A single lantern flickered on a scarred oak table, throwing long shadows across walls lined with weapons, silver knives, crossbow bolts tipped with wolfsbane, and a rack of rifles that made Elara's stomach twist. Lyra barred the door behind them, sliding 3 iron bolts into place. The sound echoed like a prison gate. Rowan disappeared down a narrow hallway without a word. Kael lingered at Elara's side, his hand brushing the small of her back as if afraid she'd vanish. You need rest, he said quietly. There's a room. I need answers. She turned to face him, the obsidian pendant still clenched in her fist. You said your mother was human, that you were exiled, but you didn't say why, or what *** means, or why those wolves want me dead. Kael's jaw flexed. He glanced at Lyra, who was already unpacking a med kit with clinical efficiency. Not here, he murmured. Not yet. Then where? Elara's voice cracked. Exhaustion and adrenaline warred in her veins. I've been dragged through a forest, threatened by talking wolves, and handed a cursed necklace. I deserve more than riddles. Lyra looked up, her amber eyes unreadable. She's right, Kael. The girl's in the crosshairs now. Ignorance won't save her. Kael's shoulders sagged. He nodded toward a narrow staircase. Upstairs. Second door. The stairs creaked under their weight. Elara's legs trembled. Every step felt like climbing out of her own skin. The room at the top was small, Spartan, a cot with a wool blanket, a single window shuttered against the light, and a basin of water that smelled faintly of iron. Kael closed the door behind them, leaning against it as if to hold the world at bay. He didn't speak at first, just watched her, gold eyes tracking every breath, every twitch of her fingers. Finally, he said, "Sit." Elara perched on the cot's edge. The pendant burned against her palm. "Talk." Kael exhaled through his nose. "My path, the Silverfang, rules these mountains. Has for centuries. We're bound by bloodlines, by the moon, by a curse older than the trees." He pushed off the door, pacing the small space like a caged animal. "Every alpha is born with a mark, a soul bond. A asterisk mate asterisk chosen by fate, not choice. When the bond ignites, it's undeniable, painful to resist, fatal to break." Elara's mouth went dry. "And you think I asterisk no asterisk you are." He stopped pacing, facing her. "The moment I saw you in the mud, stitching my wounds with shaking hands, I felt it, like a hook in my chest. My Volf," he broke off, throat working. "It recognized you before I did." She stared at him. "That's not how love works, Kael. That's possession." No, the word was sharp. "It's not ownership. It's gravity. Two halves of a whole, pulled together whether we like it or not. My mother felt it with my father. She was human. He was alpha. The pack called it abomination. Said the curse would corrupt the bloodline. They exiled them both. My father died protecting her. She followed a year later grief, the bond severed. I was 10. Elara's chest ached. She saw it then, the boy beneath the alpha, the weight of loss carved into every line of his face. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't be." His voice was rough. "I'm telling you so you understand what's at stake." The rogue Silases pack their exiles too, but they embrace the curse. They hunt bonded pairs, believing if they sever enough mates, they'll break the magic binding us to the moon. Free themselves. They'll kill you to hurt me. Or worse, force the bond to twist me into something monstrous. Elara's fingers tightened around the pendant. "And if I walk away?" Kael's eyes darkened. "The pull fades with distance. Eventually, but I'll feel you every second you're gone. And Silas will still hunt you. Your asterisk marked asterisk now my scent's on you, in you. They'll smell it from miles away. She stood, closing the distance between them. Then teach me how to fight back. He blinked. Elara, I'm not some damsel. I've survived betrayal, grief, a car crash that killed my parents. I stitched you up with dental floss and a prayer. If fate wants to play dirty, I'll play dirtier. A laugh escaped him short, surprised, genuine. It transformed his face, softening the hard edges. You're impossible. Get used to it. He reached out, slow enough for her to pull away, and tucked a damp curl behind her ear. His fingers lingered against her skin. There's more, he said. The full moon tomorrow, it's the blood moon, strongest of the year. I'll shift whether I want to or not. If the bond's not sealed, sealed how? He swallowed. A claim, a bite. Blood to blood. It's permanent. Elara's pulse thundered. And if we don't, I lose control. The wolf takes over. I could hurt you. Or worse, his hand dropped. I won't force it. But I need you to know what's coming. Silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken things. Elara studied his face, the scar, the stubble, the way his eyes flickered with fear and longing in equal measure. She thought of the life she'd left behind, empty, hollow, a cage of her own making. And here was Kael, offering a different kind of cage, one lined with teeth and moonlight, but also with fierce, terrifying asterisk truth asterisk. I'm not ready, she said finally. But I'm not leaving either. Relief flooded his features. He started to speak, but a sharp knock cut him off. Lear's voice came through the door. We've got movement. Scouts on the ridge. Silas is closer than we thought. Kael's expression hardened. Stay here. Lock the door. No. Elara grabbed his arm. We do this together. You said I'm marked then. Let me learn what that means. He searched her face, then nodded once. Fine, but you stay behind me. They descended the stairs. Rowan stood at the window, peering through a slit in the shutters. 4 wolves. Maybe 5. They're testing the wards. Lyra handed Elara a silver dagger. Wolfsbane on the blade. 1 cut won't kill, but it'd slow them. Elara took it, the weight foreign but steadying. Kael's hand brushed hers as he passed a silent promise. Outside, the forest was unnaturally still. Then a howl split the air, closer than before. The lantern flickered. Shadows danced. Kael opened the door a crack. Cold air rushed in, carrying the scent of wet earth and something feral. They're not attacking, he said. They're waiting. For what? Elara asked. For the moon, Lyra answered. For you to choose. Elara looked at Kael. His profile was sharp against the gray light, every muscle coiled. She thought of the pendant in her pocket, the warmth of his hand, the way his wolf had asterisk sung asterisk for her. I choose to fight, she said. Kael's eyes met hers, gold and fierce. Then we fight. But as the first wolf stepped into view, Silas, human again, smiling like death, Elara felt the bond tighten around her heart. Not a cage. A tether. And tomorrow, under the blood moon, it would either save them or destroy them both. Chapter 5. The knife and the moonlight asterisk asterisk. The safe house door creaked open just enough for Silas's voice to slither through. Tick-tock. Kael, the moon won't wait for your little human to grow a spine. Rowan's knuckles whitened around a silver-tipped arrow. Lyra's crossbow hummed, bolt locked. Elara stood behind Kael, dagger in her fist, the wolfsbane oil stinging her nostrils. The air inside the cabin was furnace hot despite the dawn chill. Every breath tasted of iron and pine. Kael didn't answer Silas. Instead, he turned to Elara, voice low. Whatever happens, you keep that blade up and your eyes on me. Understand? She nodded. The pendant at her throat, his mother's wolf, felt heavier than the dagger. Silas laughed outside, a wet, hungry sound. Bring her out, or we burn the wards down. Your choice, exile. Rowan hissed. He's bluffing. The wards are blood-bound. Only an alpha can break them. Kael's jaw flexed. He's not alone. A second howl rose closer, feminine, laced with grief. Elara's skin prickled. She knew that voice, though she'd never heard it in human form. Lyra's eyes widened. Myra, Silas turned her. Kael's shoulders stiffened. My sister. The name hit Elara like a slap. Sister. Another tether to the past Kael carried like chains. Rowan loaded the bow. We can't hold them if the pack's with him. We need to move. No. Kael's refusal cracked like a whip. This ends tonight. Before the moon forces my hand, he stepped onto the threshold. Elara followed before anyone could stop her. The clearing in front of the safe house was a circle of packed earth ringed by ancient pines. Mist curled ankle-high. Silas stood at the center, naked to the waist, scars livid across his chest. Behind him, for wolves fanned out lean, battle-hardened, eyes glowing. And at Silas's side, a woman with Kael's cheekbones and haunted amber eyes, Myra. Her dark hair was braided with bone beads. A fresh bite scar marred her collarbone. Kael's breath hitched. Myra, don't, she said, voice raw. You left us. You left me. I was exiled for protecting you. You were weak. Silas's smile was all teeth. You chose a human mother over the pack. Now you choose another human over blood. Elara's grip on the dagger tightened. I'm not a choice. I'm a person. Silas's gaze slid to her, predatory. You're a key, little bird. Unlock the curse, and we all go free. Kael stepped forward, placing himself between Elara and the pack. The curse isn't a lock. It's a chain. You break it, you break ***. Myra's eyes flickered pain, longing, rage. You don't get to decide for us anymore, brother. Rowan and Lyra emerged behind Elara, weapons raised. The clearing bristled with tension, a powder keg waiting for a spark. Silas lifted a hand. The wolves crouch. Last chance, he said. Give her to me. Or we take her. Kael's answer was a growl that rattled Elara's bones. His body shuddered, muscles rippling beneath skin as if something inside fought to break free. The moon wasn't up yet, but the pole was already clawing at him. Elara's heart pounded. She saw then the tremor in his hands, the sweat beating at his temple. He was holding the shift back with sheer will. For her, she stepped to his side, dagger raised. You want me? Come through me. Silas's laugh was delighted. Brave, stupid. I like it. He lunged at time fractured. Kael met him midair, human form colliding with Wolf in a pour of claws and teeth. Rowan's arrow flew, burying in a rogue's flank. Lyra's bolt took another in the throat. Elara's world narrowed to the dagger, to the Wolf barreling toward her gray, snarling, eyes mad with bloodlust. She slashed. Silver matte fur. The Wolf yelped, recoiling, but another took its place, Elara. Kael's roar cut through the chaos. He was half-shifted, claws extended, eyes fully gold, shirt shredding as his torso expanded. Blood streaked his side. Silas had torn into him. Myra hesitated, watching her brother bleed. Elara ducked a swipe, rolled, came up behind the gray Wolf. She drove the dagger into its haunch. It screamed a human scream and rounded on her. Kael was there in an instant, slamming the beast aside with a force that cracked bone. He grabbed Elara's arm, hauling her behind him. Stay close, he panted. His voice was deeper, layered with the Wolf. Silas circled, human again, blood dripping from a gash on his cheek. You can't protect her forever, Kael. The moon will rise. You'll claim her or I will. Myra stepped forward, voice trembling. Enough, Silas snarled. You traitor. I said *enough*. Myra's eyes blazed. She turned to Kael. Take her and go. I'll hold them. Kael shook his head. I won't leave you again. You already did. The words were a blade. But I won't let you die for it. She shifted fluid, graceful. A sleek black Wolf with Kael's eyes. She lunged at Silas, teeth snapping at his throat. The clearing erupted into chaos. Kael grabbed Elara's hand. Now they ran, the forest blurred branches whipping her face, mud sucking at her boots. Kael pulled her along, half carrying her when she stumbled. Behind them, howls and snarls faded into the trees. They burst into a small glade ringed by boulders. A creek babbled nearby, silver in the growing light. Kael collapsed against a rock, dragging Elara down with him. Blood soaked his side. The shift had torn his wounds open again. Shit, she gasped, pressing her hand to the gash. You're bleeding everywhere. I'll live. His voice was hoarse. We need to keep moving. Myra bought us time, not safety. Elara tore a strip from her shirt, binding the wound as best she could. Her fingers shook. Your sister. She's fighting for us. She's fighting for you. Kael's hand covered hers, stilling the tremor. She sees what I see. And what's that? He met her eyes, gold dimming to something softer. Someone worth saving. The words hung between them, fragile as frost. Elara's throat tightened. She thought of Myra's haunted gaze, of Kael's mother dying of a broken bond, of the life she'd fled empty, cold, safe. I don't want to be saved, she said. I want to be chosen. Kael's breath caught. Slowly, deliberately, he lifted her hand from his wound and pressed it to his cheek. His stubble scraped her palm. Then choose me, he whispered. Not the bond. Not the curse. The air stilled. The creak's murmur faded. Elara felt the tether between them tighten, not magic, but something raw, real. She leaned in, forward, resting against his. I'm terrified, me too. His lips brushed hers hesitant, asking. She answered, a soft press that tasted of blood and rain and pine. It wasn't a claim. It was a promise. They pulled apart as the sun crested the trees, painting the glade gold. Kael's wound had slowed. The shift's edge receded with the dawn. We can't stay, he said. Silas will come. The moon, I know. Elara stood, offering her hand. But we're not running anymore. He took it, rising. Together, they faced the path ahead deeper into the mountains, toward whatever waited under the blood moon behind them. A single hell rose Myra's, triumphant and broken. Elara squeezed Kael's fingers. We'll come back for her. We will, he vowed out, and as they walked into the light, the pendant at Elara's throat pulsed once warm. Alive! There's but in the distance, thunder rumbled though the sky was clear. The moon was coming, and it was hungry. Chapter 6. The hollow beneath the pines, the glade gave way to a narrow deer path that wound upward, roots snaking across the trail like veins. Elara's lungs burned with every breath of thin mountain air, but she refused to slow. Kael's hand stayed locked in hers, his stride shortened to match hers even though she could feel the wolf pacing beneath his skin, desperate to run. Blood still seeped through the makeshift bandage on his side, darkening his shirt in a spreading bloom. They crested a ridge and the world dropped away. Below them, a valley cradled a tarnished mirror of water Blackthorn Lake, its surface flat and black as obsidian. A single cabin perched on the far shore, half swallowed by pines. Smoke curled from a stone chimney, thin and gray. That's the hollow, Kael said, voice rough. Old pack sanctuary, warded. No one's used it since the exile wars. Elara squinted. Looks abandoned. It's supposed to. He tugged her forward. Come on. We need to clean that wound properly before infection sets in. The descent was brutal as shell, hidden roots, the constant threat of a twisted ankle. Halfway down, Elara's foot slipped. Kael caught her around the waist, hauling her against his chest. For a moment, they stood frozen, her back to his front, his heartbeat thundering through her spine. You okay? He murmured against her ear. She nodded, throat tight. His arm lingered a second longer than necessary before releasing her. They didn't speak of the kiss, but it hovered between them like a third presence, warm, terrifying. The cabin door was warped oak-bound with iron. Kael pressed his palm to a sigil carved into the wood. The metal glowed faintly, then the lock clicked open. Inside smelled of cedar, dust, and something metallic, cold blood, maybe. A single room, stone hearth, a table scarred by claws, a loft with a straw mattress. Sunlight slanted through cracked windows, dust motes dancing like fireflies. Kael barred the door, then turned to her. Sit, Elara obeyed, perching on the table's edge. He rummaged through a cabinet, producing a leather satchel. Inside, sutures, dried herbs, a bottle of amber liquid that smelled like whiskey and pine needles, This'll sting, he warned, pouring the liquid over his wound. She hissed in sympathy as the gas fizzed. Let me, he started to protest, but she was already threading a needle with steady fingers. Vet tech muscle memory kicked in. She cleaned the edges, stitched with small, precise movements. Kael watched her face, not the needle. You've done this before, he said, on dogs, cats. Once a goat, she tied off the last knot, snipped the thread. Never a werewolf. A low laugh rumbled from his chest. First time for everything. She met his eyes. How long have you been hiding what you are? His smile faded. Since I could walk. My father taught me control before I could spell my name. Said the world would fear what it didn't understand. He traced the scar through his eyebrow. He was right. Elara's fingers followed the path of his, brushing the raised skin. Who gave you this? Silas, the night they exiled us. I was 16. He said I'd never be alpha with human blood in my veins. Kael's voice was flat, but his pulse jumped beneath her touch. He was wrong about a lot of things. She wanted to ask more about the exile, the curse, the sister fighting for them, but the weight of the day pressed down. Instead, she said, "You're burning up again. Fever's part of it." The shift's close. He stood, swaying slightly. I need to check the wards. Kael, I'll be fine. He cupped her cheek, thumb brushing her lower lip. Rest. I'll be outside. He left before she could argue. The door shut with a soft thud. Elara explored the cabin. A trunk in the loft held blankets, a worn journal, a child's wooden valve carved with clumsy care. She opened the journal. The handwriting was elegant, faded, greater than Day 47 of exile. The bond aches like a missing limb. Kael grows stronger, but the pack's hells follow us in dreams. If they find us, I will burn the forest before I let them take my son. Elara's chest tightened. Kael's mother. She closed the journal, heart pounding. Downstairs, the hearth beckoned. She built a small fire, the crackle filling the silence. Minutes stretched. The sun climbed, then began its descent. Kael didn't return, worrying not at her. She grabbed the dagger and stepped outside. The clearing was empty. Wart's glowing runes etched into tree trunks pulsed faintly. No sign of Kael. Panic clawed up her throat. Kael. A rustle in the pines. He emerged from the shadows, shirtless, skin glistening with sweat. His eyes were fully gold, pupils blown wide. The wound on his side had scabbed over, but new bruises bloomed across his ribs. I'm here, he said, voice gravel. Needed air. The valse. Restless, Elara's gaze dropped. His hands trembled. Veins stood out beneath his skin like roots. How bad? She asked. Bad? He laughed, bitter. The moon's not even up yet. She stepped closer. What happens if you shift early? I lose control. The bond did force the claim. I could hurt you. His fists clenched. I won't risk it. Then don't fight alone. She took his hand, pressing it to her chest. His palm burned against her heartbeat. You said it's gravity. Let me be your anchor. Kael's breath hitched. Elara, I'm not asking for forever. Just tonight. Help me understand. He searched her face, then nodded once. Together, they returned inside. The fire cast golden light across the walls. Kael sat on the hearth, pulling her down beside him. The shift isn't just bones, he said. It's memory, instinct. Every alpha before me lives in my blood. When the moon calls, they speak. Sometimes I listen. Sometimes I don't. He turned her palm up, tracing the lines with a claw that hadn't been there before. With you, they're quiet. For the first time, Elara's throat tightened. Because of the bond? Because of you. His voice dropped. You make the Wolf want to protect, not possess. It's new. She leaned into him, forward against his shoulder. His skin was fever hot, muscles rigid with restraint. Slowly, she traced the claw marks on his chest scars from the first attack, now faded to silver. These healed too fast, she murmured. Alpha blood. The curse's gift. He caught her hand, pressing it over his heart. Feel that. It thundered beneath her palm, wild and strong. Your heart, my wolf. It knows you. Elara closed her eyes. The fire crackled. Outside, the wind shifted, carrying the scent of snow. She felt it, then a pull deep in her chest, answering his heartbeat. Not magic, choice. Kael, she whispered. I'm scared, I know. His arms came around her, careful, as if she might break. But you're not alone. They stayed like that as dusk bled into night. The moon rose, a sliver of silver through the window, not yet full but heavy with promise. Kael's breathing grew ragged. His claws extended fully, digging into the stone hearth. It's starting. He gritted out. Elara pulled back, cupping his face. Look at me. Gold eyes locked on hers, wild and desperate. She kissed him, not soft this time, but fierce, claiming. He groaned, hands fisting in her shirt, but he didn't push further. The wolf wanted. The man held back. I trust you, she said against his lips. Let me help you hold on. He nodded, trembling. Together, they breathed one heartbeat, one tether. Outside, a howl split the night, not Myra's, not Silas's, something ancient, hungry. Kael's head snapped toward the window. They found us. Elara stood, dagger in hand. Then we faced them together. The moon climbed higher, bathing the cabin in silver. The wards flared, then dimmed. The blood moon was coming, and it would not wait. Chapter 7. The blood moons whisper asterisk. The cabin's wards flickered like dying embers. Outside, the pines groaned under a wine that hadn't been there moments ago. Elara's pulse thundered in her ears, matching the frantic rhythm of Kael's harp beneath her palm. The moon hung low and bloated, a crimson coin pressing against the window pane. Not full, not yet, but close enough to claw Kael's control. He pulled away, staggering to his feet. Claws fully extended now, black and curved, scraped across the stone floor. His shirt hung in tatters. The muscles of his back rippled as if something beneath fought to break free. Sweat glistened on his skin, catching the firelight in molten streaks. Elara, he rasped, voice layered with gravel and growl. Bar the door. Don't open it. No matter what you hear. She stood, dagger trembling in her grip. I'm not leaving you out there alone. You don't understand. He whirled, gold eyes blazing. Veins stood out beneath his skin like roots. If I shift here, with you so close, he broke off, claws raking the air. I'll claim you. No choice, no consent, just instinct. The word claim hit her like a fist. She saw it in his face, the terror of becoming the monster he feared. The fire popped, sending sparks up the chimney. Outside, another howl rose closer, joined by others. A chorus of hunger. Elara stepped forward, slow and deliberate. Then give me the choice now. Kael froze. What? You said the bond isn't ownership. Prove it. She set the dagger on the table, palms open. Let me see you. All of you. Before the moon takes it away. His breath hitched. You don't know what you're asking. I know exactly what I'm asking. She closed the distance, fingers brushing the claw marks on his chest. You're not Silas. You're not the curse. You're Kael, and I'm choosing to stand with you. A shudder racked him. His knees buckled. He caught himself on the table, claws gouging the wood. The shift hits agony. And after, I might not come back. Then I'll bring you back. She cupped his face, forcing his gaze to hers. Trust me the way I'm trusting you. For a heartbeat, the cabin held its breath. Then Kael nodded once, sharp. He straightened, rolling his shoulders. Outside, the clearing. Less chance of. Collateral. They stepped into the night. The blood moon bathed the world in red. The air was thick with the scent of pine and iron. The ground slick with frost. The wards pulsed weakly, runes flickering like dying stars. Elara's breath fogged as she followed Kael to the center of the clearing. The howls had stopped. Silence pressed in, heavy and waiting. Kael faced her, moonlight carving shadows across his features. If I lose it, run. The lake, there's a boat. Row to the far shore. Don't look back. I'm not, promise me. She swallowed. I promise. He closed his eyes. The shift began. It wasn't like the movies. No graceful ripple, no cinematic glow. It was asterisk violence asterisk. Bones cracked like gunfire. Kael scream tore through the night human, then not. His spine arched. Claws lengthened, digging furrows in the earth. Fur erupted across his skin black as midnight, streaked with silver. His face elongated, muzzle forming, teeth flashing white. The man folded into the Volf, and the Volf asterisk roared asterisk Daddy Elara stumbled back, heart in her throat. The beast before her was massive, shoulders broader than a bear, eyes molten gold, breath steaming in the cold. It turned its head, nostrils flaring. For a moment, she saw nothing of Kael. Only predator. Then it whined a low, broken sound and lowered its massive head, pressing it to her stomach. Elara's hands shook as she sank to her knees. The Volf's fur was coarse, warm, trembling. She buried her fingers in it, feeling the thunder of its heart. Kael, she whispered. I see you. The Volf nuzzled her, gentle despite its size. Its tongue rasped across her wrist once, twice leaving a streak of warmth. Not a claim. A question that she answered by pressing her forehead to its muzzle. I'm here. The bond flared white hot, electric. Elara gasped as images flooded her mind. Kael as a boy, hiding in a cave while his mother sang to drown out the pack's howls. Kael standing over his father's body, blood on his hands. Kael watching her stitch his wounds in the rain, something ancient waking in his chest. Tears stung her eyes. She pulled back, meeting the Volf's gaze. I feel it too, a twig snapped. The Volf spun, hackles raised. Silas stepped from the tree's human, naked, smiling like a knife. Behind him, 6 wolves fanned out, eyes glowing. Myra was not among them, beautiful, isn't it? Silas said. The curse in all its glory. But playtime's over. Kael's growl shook the ground. He placed himself between Elara and the pack, lips peeling back from fangs longer than her fingers. Silas raised a hand. Shift back, Kael, or we take her piece by piece. Elara's dagger was inside. She had nothing but her wits and the Volf at her side. She stepped forward, voice steady. You want me? You'll have to go through both of us. Silas's laugh was delighted. Brave little human. The bonds made you stupid. He shifted faster than Kael, fluid as water. A massive gray Volf, scarred and lean, lunged out. Kael met him midair. The clearing exploded into chaos, teeth, claws, blood spraying across the frost. The other wolves circled, snapping at Elara. She dodged, grabbing a fallen branch, swinging it like a club. One Volf yelped as it connected with its snout. Kael and Silas rolled, a blur of fur and fury. Silas was bigger, but Kael was faster, driven by something deeper than rage, protection, love. Elara's branch snapped. A Volf female, reddish fur barreled into her, jaws snapping. She hit the ground hard, air whooshing from her lungs. The Volf's teeth grazed her throat. Kael's roar split the night. He tore free from Silas, slamming into the red Volf with bone-crushing force. It whimpered, retreating. Kael stood over Elara, blood matting his fur, one ear torn. Silas shifted back, chest heaving. You can't win, Kael. The moon's at its peak. Claim her, or I will. Kael's Volf form shuddered. The shift reversed, agonizing, slower this time. Bones cracked, fur receded. He collapsed to his knees, human again, naked and bleeding. The moon's pull was a visible weight, dragging at him. Elara crawled to his side, hands hovering over wounds that wouldn't heal fast enough. Kael, stay with me. He looked up, eyes human now gold-flecked hazel, raw with fear. I can't. Hold it. Silas advanced, shifting mid-step. The gray Volf leapt. Elara acted on instinct. She grabbed the obsidian pendant, yanking it free. The cord snapped. She pressed the Volf's head to Kael's bare chest, over his heart. Asterisk, choose asterisk. She screamed at Kael, at the moon, at the curse itself. Not the bond. Asterisk him asterisk. The pendant flared, black stone igniting with crimson light. The bond asterisk surged asterisk. Not a chain. A bridge. Kael's back arched. A howl tore from his throat, human and Volf combined. The shift halted halfway, claws, fangs, but human eyes. He rose, towering, a hybrid of man and beast. Power crackled around him, the air itself bending. Silas faltered mid-leap. Kael caught him by the throat, lifting the massive wolf like it weighed nothing. His voice was thunder. Asterisk mine. Asterisk he hurled Silas into the trees. The gray wolf hit a trunk with a sickening crack, shifted back, and didn't rise. The other wolves whined, backing away. Kael turned to them, eyes blazing. One word, asterisk leave. Asterisk they fled. Silence fell, broken only by Kael's ragged breathing. The hybrid form flickered, then collapsed. He fell to his knees, human again, shaking. Elara caught him, arms around his shoulders. Kael, look at me. He did. The gold was fading, but the man remained. I didn't. Claim you, no, she said, tears falling. We claimed asterisk us asterisk dot double quotes the pendant lay between them, cracked but warm. The moon dipped lower, its pull easing. Dawn was coming, but in the distance, a new howl rose, not Silas's, not Mara's, deeper, older. The pack had felt the shift in power, and they were coming. Chapter 8. The Alpha Silence asterisk asterisk the clearing stank of blood and scorched pine. Frost glittered crimson where Kael's claws had torn the earth. Elara knelt beside him, her palms slick against his bare shoulders. His skin was fever-hot, pulse erratic beneath her fingers. The hybrid shift had drained him. The man and wolf were both spent, trembling in the aftermath of power that had never been meant for a half-blood exile. Kael's head hung low, dark hair curtaining his face. I hurt you, he rasped. I felt it, the urge to bite, to asterisk, take asterisk. You didn't. She pressed the cracked obsidian pendant into his hand. You asterisk chose asterisk. He stared at the broken wolf's head as if it might bite him. I shouldn't have been able to stop. No alpha ever has. His voice cracked. The curse isn't a curse tonight. Elara cupped his cheek, forcing his gaze to hers. It's a bridge. You walked it. We both did. A tremor ran through him. He leaned into her touch, eyes fluttering shut. I'm still dangerous. So am I, she kissed the corner of his mouth. Tasting salt and iron, we'll be dangerous together. The distant howl came again deeper, resonant, carrying the weight of centuries. Kael stiffened. The pack. They felt the shift in the bond. They're coming to see what I become. Elara helped him stand. His legs shook, but he locked his knees, pride outweighing pain. Blood streaked his torso. The stitches she'd sewn hours ago were gone, flesh knitting in ragged pink lines. Alpha healing, but slower now, as if the hybrid form had burned through his reserves. We need shelter, she said. The hollow's wards are failing. He nodded toward the lake. There's a cave on the northern ridge, old den. My mother used it when the pack hunted us. His voice dropped. She carved her name into the wall, said it was proof we existed. Elara's throat tightened. She retrieved the dagger from the cabin, along with the journal and a blanket. Kael wrapped the wool around his hips, knotting it like a kilt. Together they limped across the frost-slick clearing, the blood moon sinking behind the peaks, leaving the world in bruised twilight. The cave mouth was narrow, hidden behind a curtain of frost-heavy vines. Kael pushed them aside, revealing a space no larger than the cabin's loft. The air inside was warmer, scented with earth and faint lavender, his mother's sashes, perhaps, preserved by stone. A circle of river rocks ringed a cold fire pit. On the far wall, scratched deep into granite, asterisk asterisk Elara Voss was here. So was her son, asterisk asterisk Elara's breath caught. She named you after me? Kael's fingers traced the letters. She said the name meant light in Thehedaus. That I'd need it one day. His voice was raw. She died before she could see if she was right. Elara set the journal beside the carving. She was. He turned away, shoulders hunching. I'm not light, Elara. I'm the reason she's dead. The reason Myra's lost. The reason Silas stopped. She caught his wrist, pulling him around. You didn't choose exile. You didn't choose the curse. You chose to protect me tonight. That's light enough. Kael's eyes glistened. He sank to the cave floor, back against the wall, pulling her down with him. The blanket became a shared cocoon. Outside, the wind howled through the pines, carrying fragments of wolf voices, arguing, mourning, calling asterisk. They'll find us by dawn, he murmured. The elders, the enforcers. They'll want answers. Then we give them answers. Elara nestled against his side, careful of his wounds. But first, we rest. You're no good to anyone half dead. He huffed a laugh. Bossy, get used to it. Silence settled, broken only by the crackle of the small fire she coaxed to life with twigs and the journal's blank pages sacrifices to warmth. Keikaya's breathing evened out, but sleep eluded him. His fingers found hers, interlacing. Tell me something true, he whispered. Something no one else knows, Elara considered. I used to steal my mother's lavender sachets and hide them in my pillow. Said it kept the nightmares away, she swallowed. After the crash, I stopped sleeping with pillows. Couldn't stand the smell. Kael's thumb stroked her knuckles. I still have hers. In the satchel. Never opened it, she turned to face him, their noses brushing. Your turn. He was quiet so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, I used to shift in secret and visit the city. Watched humans from rooftops. Wanted to know what it felt like to be ordinary. His voice cracked. Found a vet clinic with a light on at 3 a.m. You were stitching a stray cat, humming off-key. I stayed until sunrise. Elara's heart stuttered. That was 2 years ago. I know. The confession hung between them, fragile and huge. She kissed him slow, deliberate, a seal on the truth. He responded with a desperation that stole her breath, hands gentle despite the claws still tipping his fingers. When they parted, his forehead rested against hers. I'm falling. Elara, so fall. I'll catch you. The fire burned low. Outside, the voices grew closer boots on frost, murmured arguments. Kael tensed, they're here. Elara stood, dagger ready. Kael rose beside her, blanket falling away. Moonlight through the cave mouth painted him silver and shadow, wound stark but healing. He looked every inch the alpha he'd been born to be. A figure filled the entrance stall, silver-haired, eyes the color of winter steel. Behind him, a dozen wolves fanned out, some shifted, some human. The other's gaze swept the cave, lingering on the carved name, the cracked pendant, the blood on the floor. Kael Thorn, the elder said, voice like grinding stone. You've broken every law. The bond, the exile. The blood moon, Kael stepped forward, shielding Elara. I broke nothing. I remained it. The elder's eyes narrowed on Elara, a human, marked, bonded without sanction. He inhaled, nostrils flaring. And something else. Power that shouldn't exist in an exile's veins. Elara's chin lifted. He saved your pack from Silas. That's sanction enough. Murmurs rippled through the enforcers. A woman with a scar across her throat stepped forward. Myra, human now, braid undone, eyes swollen with tears and fury. He's my brother, she said. And she's the reason I'm still breathing. Silas would have killed me if Kael hadn't drawn him away. The elder's gaze softened a fraction. The laws are clear, child. Then change them, Myra's voice cracked like a whip. Or lose the only alpha who can hold the curse without breaking it. Silence. The wind stilled. Even the fire seemed to listen. The elder studied. Kael really studied him. The hybrid scars, the steady stance, the human woman at his side who met his stare without flinching. Finally, the circle convenes at dawn. You will answer for your actions. Both of you. He turned to leave, then paused. Bring the pendant. The cracked one. The seer will want to see what you've done. The wolves melted into the trees. Myra lingered, eyes on Kael. I'm sorry, she whispered. He crossed the space into strides, pulling her into a fierce hug. You came back. I never left. She clung to him, then stepped away. Nodding to Elara, keep him alive till morning. I plan to. Myra vanished into the dark. Kael turned to Elara, exhaustion etching lines around his eyes. Dawns in 3 hours. The circle, they'll test the bond. If it holds, it will. She took his hand. We will. He pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. Whatever happens, you're my light in shadows. And you're mine. Outside, the forest held its breath. Inside, the fire burned steady. Dawn was coming, and with it, judgment.